Hi, this is Matthew Williams, author of Something Changed, Stumbling Through Divorce, Dating and Depression. And this evening, I just want to talk a little bit about um, the support I had from my bosses where I worked when I was ill. Because one of the things that's very difficult, one of the many things that's very difficult when you're struggling with your mental health, and in my case, as the title of my book suggests, it was depression, is the uh, obviously the fear of the impact that it has on your work, but also the actual impact it has on your work. And in my instance, in my situation, I did have to take two very extended periods of leave, sick leave, and I was my illnesses occurred when with different employers. So the first time I was off for 5 months, and the second time I was off for nearly 4 months. Um, and I have to say I was very fortunate in the support I was given from the managers that I had. Um, and I think it's something that must be say it's obviously very difficult for the person going through it, but it must be a very difficult situation for a manager to deal with as well, because I can't imagine it's something that you ever get much training training in. It's something that I guess you just have to deal with as it happens. And from that point of view, like I said, I was very lucky in that mine dealt with it very well. Um, I was able to speak to my managers. I'm very kind of transparent. I couldn't disguise how I felt. It was very clear that there was something wrong with me. And my first in the first time, my manager at the time, Matt Fisher, you were brilliant, thank you. And he really went above and beyond. I had a breakdown at Alton Towers at like a staff conference, and it was awful, awful. I mean, that's just like over 3 hours away from where I live, and I was just a mess, and I just couldn't function really. And he drove me all the way home, so 3 hour journey home, and then 3 hours all the way back himself. Didn't think twice about it, just did it, and um, you know, told me to just do what I needed to do to get better and to get help. And yeah, was very supportive all the way through, as was my boss in the company I'm now with, where I was ill for the second time. Ron Tully, you're a star. And Ron's always been very supportive of me. Um, since I'd been ill, I mean, I have it obviously with the events of the last few years. There have been times when it's been difficult, and he's been very understanding and great when things haven't been good. He's I know I can tell him, and he'll make sure that I'm able to look after myself, and take a day here or there to make sure I get myself right, and give myself a bit of space sometimes when I need it. And he's fantastic, and he'll take me out for a drink now and again. And he's like a friend to me as well as a boss. And I think that's one of the important things. I've said this before. I mean, actually having people that actually genuinely care about you as an individual and want you to be well, and even if they can't understand exactly what it is that you are going through, the fact that they do know you and value you as an employee, that they recognise that clearly there's something wrong and that you do need to get help. And I was under no pressure from again either of those circumstances. I was under no pressure from either of my bosses. I was under a lot of pressure from myself to want to get back to work, and fearing that I wouldn't be able to. But I was placed under no additional pressure through my bosses. The policies of the companies had an impact on my return to work. Um, and that's another topic. But yeah, my bosses were fantastically supportive, and I was very fortunate. And my so I did make a recovery, and I would like to think I've gone on to, repay, I suppose, if that's the word, the faith that my boss has had in me. Um, but my situation would have been a hell of a lot worse had I had a different response from my boss, and had I had any additional pressure placed on me by them. Then again, I dread to think really what that could have resulted in. So to finish off, big shout out to Matt Fisher, Ron Tully. I'll never forget what you did for me, and yeah, it's always a pleasure speaking to you all, and I hope this might help someone somehow, somewhere. Thank you. Bye.